Hey, what's good? It's Cadillaktrackz. This is quick tip number 82. This is about the ASIO drivers. I actually just spent like 3 times trying to redo this video because my computer kept messing up because I kept selecting the ASIO driver. It was throwing my computer off. But ASIO drivers are the drivers that come with Fruity Loops, you know. And what I did is I experimented just a moment ago with a heavy project, a project with a lot going on. One that my computer can't handle, and I noticed that I get the best performance out of my sound card that I purchased from Guitar Center rather than the custom or generic Fruity Loops ASIO and the very generic ASIO for all driver. And I always tell people that they need to get a sound card, but a lot of people on the internet, they don't really seem to understand. And I know when I made beats, it was a few years before I actually got me a sound card. I used to use ASIO, Fruity Loops, and ASIO for all for many years until I learned better. But anyway, if you go to Fruity Loops ASIO, Fruity Loops ASIO is not that good because, as you can see, the buffer only goes down to 256. And when I do that, I get about 6 milliseconds, which means there's a 6 millisecond delay from when I hit a key on this keyboard and when the key comes through on Fruity Loops. 6 milliseconds, some people will argue is, oh, it's nothing, man, you never notice that. It's great. But the truth is you will notice the difference from 6 and less if you've experienced the difference. If you never experienced the difference, you won't know a difference. You know, duh. But anyway, you know, 12 milliseconds is way more than 6 milliseconds. You know, 2 is way less than 6. But anyway, with this ASIO driver, it's really not that good because of the fact that it can only go down that low. And also, if you have a big project, you're going to probably move your buffer up. As you move the buffer up, your latency is going to get crazy, you know, 24 milliseconds from when I hit a key and when it plays back. So if I'm playing piano on my beat, it's going to be off like crazy. And anyway, the second option that you have available with ASIO drivers is this Fruity Loops ASIO for all. I'm not going to click on it because that's what I just did twice to mess my computer up because it makes the other programs think that I want to run that as my main driver. But it has more options is what I noticed a moment ago when I did it. With the Fruity Loops ASIO for all, I was able to go all the way down to 64 milliseconds. I was able to get to 2 milliseconds buffer. However, when I played my big projects, it started cracking and popping, and I had to bring that buffer all the way up to about 512 for it to play decently. It was still popping every now and then, but it was playing to where I could hear it. It was okay. That was at 512 milliseconds, okay? 512 sample rate, basically. Samples. When I selected my USB Yamaha Steinberg Guitar Center, they always cost 100 and up. That's just how much they cost, 100 and up. So a sound card is going to cost you 100 and up. You might get one for give or take 100 and up. But anyway, when I did it on the sound card, you know, it can't handle it at 64 samples. But what I noticed is, this is my option that I get available with my sound card. I could actually bring it up to 256 and it was playing decent, but it's still popping. So when I brought it up to 384, all the pops were gone. And this was on my Yamaha, you know, my Steinberg USB audio ASIO driver. So I got the best performance out of that. And I even read an article about it a while back and was saying that the big companies spend a lot of money to pay their programmers to make faster drivers. You don't get that big budget on a free campaign like ASIO for all or Fruity Loops ASIO. They're not dedicated to making lower latency drivers. You want zero latency. That's the ideal, and that's the game. So it's always a give or take with latency. You know, as I go down on my latency, yeah, my keyboard responds faster, but the project and the computer can't handle it. So you got to give and take. And what I've noticed and what is the truth is that if you have a dedicated sound card or interface, the ASIO drivers are faster and you get more response, better quality with the audio. ASIO for all and Fruity Loops ASIO just don't cut it, especially when you start getting into big projects. I think everyone's going to have to learn the hard way on this one because I think a lot of y'all already are. you've been doing it a long time, and just get yourself a dedicated sound card and you will see a improvement. It's Cadillaktrackz. This is a quick tip, just going over ASIO drivers. 1.